This is Joe Leigh here for SecondsOut. Delighted to be joined by MVP once again at the new Shoot Fighters gym. Not new yet, still obviously in the making, but not far out from your BKFC debut as well. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just ready to get rolling.
Yeah, it looks like you're in a director's chair. We're doing some sort of movie premiere or something right now.
It feels like it. I'll be a good director, don't worry.
But obviously, like I say, this is something different. And yeah, not too long to go. How have you adjusted since we last spoke? Obviously, you've had basically a full camp now preparing for this new chapter.
Yeah, no, to be fair, it's just it's similar to my boxing training. The rounds are a bit more intense, a bit more high pace, simply because it's 2 minutes instead of the 3 minutes. So you kind of have to get to work almost as soon as the bell goes. But other than that, we're doing a little bit of like knuckle conditioning, finger strength, forearm strength, wrist strength, and that's it. Just ready to kind of punch this guy in his face.
For the warriors out there, what's the knuckle conditioning? Explain how that works.
To be fair, you kind of all the stuff you would normally do in gloves, you take them off, just wrap your hands. Doing the old school stuff, gripping rice for like finger strength, fingertip push-ups, like punching like a bit more firm surfaces, and then, like I said, it kind of deaden the nerves and stuff. But yeah, that's it.
Obviously, mentioning you're at Shoot Fighters, who have you got to coach? Is it same coaches? Because obviously it's a different, although it's the same sport, it's kind of a little bit different what you're doing now. Well, quite a bit different.
Yeah, the only thing that's different really is the fact that there's no gloves, but it's a fight still. It's a boxing fight still. And even when I went over to boxing, I was still coaching, working with the same people, same coaches. They're very experienced. They used to do boxing themselves. But yeah, like it's the same work, to be fair. Like I said, it's just a bit more intense pace.
We've seen you do multiple sports now. What's next after BK? Back to MMA or?
I might go and do skiing. Something different.
Obviously, Mike Perry, your opponent, is something that, obviously we spoke about this before, but no one expected. He's someone who likes to get involved in a fight. How are you prepared to counter that, or how have you prepared for this fight in general?
No, it's the same. It's the same, really. There's nothing. I don't see anything special about him outside of him being tough, which a lot of people that step in a cage, step in a ring, step on the mats are. He's kind of ticked off a box that many people tick off. I've come up against so many people, and the same thing kind of happens. They get frustrated because as tough as they are, if they can't hit anything, it gets frustrating. And while they're getting hit, then they try to, see if they can figure things out. They don't, and they can't in time, and by that time they usually get hit with something big and fall over.
Has the sparring and everything been the same as usual?
Yeah, it's the same kind of sparring. The only thing that we do every now and again is adjust, put smaller gloves on. Obviously, you can't spar in bare knuckle because there's too many cuts and injuries that can happen. So, you might just wear the smaller gloves, but outside of that, it's the same. It's the same thing.
Obviously, KSI has been training down at Shoot Fighters as well. I just want to know how much you've seen of him. Obviously, there's been talk over the last few days about the new opponent and stuff, but how's he been looking in the gym? He's obviously in good shape. Yeah,
well, everyone's seen it. When you look at somebody's physical shape, you can kind of tell the work that they've been putting in. He's definitely put in massive amounts of work, and I literally see him in there every day. Saw him again this morning, and he's putting in the work, and he's improved. He's improved massively. People will be shocked, and like I said, he's working with my coaches. I know their pedigree. I know how they coach. I know how intense they are, and how much they like to win, full stop. So they push him to the limit.
Yeah. What do you make of the new opponent in Swarms? Obviously, it's not his fault, but there's been backlash online saying he's never had a fight before, etc.
No, of course. Again, it's still early. It's just it's difficult because his opponent's pulled out, and in all honesty, it doesn't sound like a legit excuse. So it's unfortunately, it's either that or cancel the show, and it's who else is there is going to step up in only a few weeks. It's very hard. The fact that Swarms is stepping in. Big respect to him. Yes, he hasn't had a fight, but he's actually willing to step in the ring and actually put the work in. So many people that have the ability that could get paid just don't want to do it. So much respect to him as well.
How'd you see it going?
Again, but the fact that he hasn't had enough time, I don't know how much work he's been doing outside of this. But the fact that he hasn't had much time, and the fact that I've seen KSI and the level that he's at, yeah, I don't see it going any other way apart from KSI.
Yeah, no, we spoke about, obviously you've done multiple sports now. Although boxing, celebrity boxing is still boxing, is that something you dip into if someone like a Jake Paul called you out? Would you be interested in that? We know you could sell a fight.
Yeah, why not? If it's, again, you see me move around from different arena to different arena. It's just another arena. I get to hit somebody in the face for money. This is what I do. It's what I work for. So, yeah, why not?
Okay, and last time we spoke, we said you'd obviously had a thought process, or we wanted something to happen in Africa. Has anything happened since then? You still want to get something by the end of your career happening in Africa?
Yeah, no, 100%. But it's going to be difficult in terms of building these things up. I'd love something to happen in the Caribbean as well. But these things are going to take time. It's as long as I'm pushing towards it and us having the right conversations and so on and so forth, it definitely can happen.
That would be good to see. And last of all, just on the Conor Benn Chris EUBANK potential fight, it looks like it's closing in on happening. I just want to know your thoughts on that. With obviously the history of their dads, it would be a massive pay-per-view fight at the O2 as well, which I'm sure would sell out.
Yeah, it's just kind of nostalgic. The two parents have fought, having the two kids fight as well. Different weights, but Conor's game. I'll be there to tune in and just watch and see what happens.
With the weight issues, obviously Chris EUBANK Jr. coming down, Conor going up, how would you see the fight playing out? Who do you think gets more of an advantage from that?
It depends on how much weight or what weight they settle at. But obviously, you tend to push towards a bigger person, the naturally bigger person, just because, they would tend to have a bigger shot, have more power in their shot naturally. So you're always going to lean that way. But Chris has been adjusting his style a little bit, so he doesn't seem to be landing as much. And Conor seems to be game, head forward, and just he throws a lot. So I think it's a good matchup. And
last of all, just on AJUC, as we're a boxing channel, just kind of thoughts and prediction for that fight, same night as yours?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely rooting for AJ, but I just unsure about his team's willingness to adjust, and instead of being the technical side, accept that they're not, the better at technically in boxing, and go in there, make it a little bit ugly, close him down, be in his face, not worry too much about getting hit because he's a smaller person, and just try to land those big shots and finish the fight early.
I appreciate your time, bro. Best of luck, August 20th. I don't know what we're going to see you do next, but hopefully I'll be chatting to you at some point about it.
Definitely, bro, definitely.